Hi, welcome back to the channel. If you're tuning back in, my name is Ethan Robbins. I'm a professional filmmaker videographer, and with me today I have my friend Leo, who is one of the same. We do different types of video, but still professional video nonetheless. Leo, great to have you on. Thank you for coming on.
Thank
Well,
you so much.
with this expertise that you've like gained, the expertise that you've had, I had some questions I wanted to ask and just try to get your perspective on when it comes to like filmmaking and making videos. What what stream of income is your primary income? Like, how do you make your money as a videographer? Is it mostly weddings?
I would say it's
Hmm.
half weddings, half other projects. The other projects would be podcasts. I do small commercial videos for small businesses.
Yeah.
Those are typically smaller budgets.
Okay.
Weddings are thus far like the higher ticket projects that I do,
Right.
but they're less common.
Hmm.
Um,
A little harder to come by.
and no, because of the nature of weddings, you can have at max one or two weddings a week because they're going to be on the weekend, but you can have five weekday business clients that you're shooting for.
Hmm.
So by the nature of when people celebrate and when people host their weddings, but I think yeah, I would say right now in terms of income, I am 50% weddings, 50% non-wedding projects,
Interesting.
and those include video shoots for clients, interviews, talking head videos, commercials, a lot of podcasts. That's podcasts would come second to weddings when it comes to my income. Weddings are 50%, podcasts are probably 30%.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And
Yes.
it's really cool how you've made I think it's really cool how you've like diversified your income stream, like because like for myself right now, like I only have like a few clients and a little bit of client work here and there. Aside from my regular 9 to 5 gig, which is basically the same thing that I'm doing in my client work, but how you've diversified it's really cool. And that's kind of where I wanted to like get your perspective on that and provide some value to viewers just because you've done it. Like they always say the best way to like get good at something is to just go out and do it. You've done it, like you made it happen. So I think that's valuable insight.
Thank you, brother.
My second question I wanted to kind of get some insight on was how do you go about finding your clients? Are the clients you've had so far, like, would you say they've come to you or maybe like fallen in your lap? Or have there been instances where, whether it be a client you still have currently, a client that you had one time, a few months ago, maybe, like, how do you go and get them?
Yes, so I did most of this work in the beginning, like, a couple of years ago when I first started becoming a filmmaker.
Hmm.
I know there are probably more intelligent, more planned, more productive, or fruitful ways to find clients. Mine was very instinctual. Mine was I have an enormous amount of gear that I invested my money in, a lot of experience in filmmaking. I can offer many types of filmmaking services. I'm very cooperative and attentive to clients, but I don't have any clients whatsoever, and I have nowhere to start.
Right.
Uh,
I feel
so
like
I
everybody
try
starts there at some point.
that, and it's a very lost place. You're so lost. Like, what do people charge? How do I charge?
Right.
When do I charge? What do I offer when I charge? There's so many question marks. It's so many variables. Like, the best thing you can do is just keep making videos. Like, that's the only thing you know how to do at that point.
Hmm.
But other than that, you're so lost. I remember I reached a point where that's it. I felt like I can offer. I'm gonna kind of go off on a tangent and
Yeah,
then answer
yeah,
the question.
yeah, go for it.
So I reached a point where I was making so many films, and I told myself one day I'm going to do this full time, and I did have a 9 to 5 at the time that is non-film related,
Hmm.
and I told myself one day I'm going to be full time, so let me make as many projects as I can. So I would make a YouTube video every week. I would do Instagram reels. Of course, I like deleted all that stuff, but I would do that. I think I made like 30, 40 YouTube videos, something like that. A lot of Instagram reels. Anytime I show up to a family event, I have my all my film gear. I'll
Hmm.
document my birthday, my brother's wife's birthday. I'll start like just documenting things around me and constantly making videos because I knew deep inside one day I'm gonna have to have a workflow when I show up to clients. I can't have like hiccups like, oh, I forgot an ND filter, or I
Right.
didn't know the battery wouldn't last that long.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
little things. I didn't know I needed that much storage. I didn't know I should have shot that in 60.
Hmm.
I didn't know it was going to be low light over there. I should have brought some lighting. Like I wanted to. I knew enough about. I had multiple industries that I developed in previous to filmmaking. I knew enough about them to know that nothing is as simple as it looks. Like
Yeah,
there's nuance and there's
yeah.
little details, and you have to get into the grind of things
Nothing
to
ever goes as planned. Nothing. And I have a rule when it comes to making videos or filming. Like, however much time you think you're gonna need, double it. At least double it. At least. because something always comes up.
Absolutely. And the thing is about the theory side of filmmaking, I was at this time consuming a lot of content online. I'm a big believer in online courses. I know people hate courses, they think it's a scam. I think the exact opposite. I feel like courses are the best thing you could ever do to your filmmaking career because you're paying somebody money who has expertise, who is depending on you to speak highly of that person. Like when you buy like full-time filmmaker course, right, for Parker Wellbeck, he wants to do you good. He wants you to speak well of him so that other people can buy his course. A lot of these course creators, they don't want you to hate them. They don't want you to think they're scammers. So they're gonna offer you value. And I don't speak for every filmmaking course. I speak about the very reputable ones. Something like Full-Time Filmmaker is a phenomenal course.
Right.
And I purchased a lot of these courses, right? And
Okay.
I was educated stuff at the time. So I felt all right. Like I've maxed out in this weird playground that I've created for myself, filmmaking wise. I maxed out. Like there's nothing else I can do. And I was like, it's time to quit my job. This is in no way, shape, or form strategic. It's not correct. It's not the way anyone should do it. But knowing myself, knowing the way I like to interact with my life and how I like to live in reality, that was the best decision for me.
Hmm.
And my living situation was very, very manageable. So like I had all my expenses down to a minimum. No car payment. I have a very old Honda Civic, a 1990 Honda Civic, as you know.
Hey, it works. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's amazing. But the reason I say this is to just in case someone does like see this and feels like, oh, maybe I should quit my job. I'm not saying that at all. Like
Yeah.
my life put me quit my job. I lived a life that, like by the grace of God, I've been very modest with the way I live my life, so that I was very capable of doing that.
Hmm.
So I take that leap, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that when you're in fight or flight,
You perform.
you perform,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
And, and all that preparation beforehand was me making sure I have tools to perform with,
Right.
but I needed the drive to perform, right? And
Hmm.
just to go. But so I think I would like kind of reach out to some friends that had businesses in the beginning. If you know somebody, let them know I do
Yeah.
weddings. If you
Let
know
them know what you
somebody,
do. Yeah.
that of course results in nothing. And the clients you do get through that type of interaction is usually someone like your cousin telling his friend, like, "Hey, my guy, he's really, really good at what he does." And
Hmm.
just by the way he portrays your business, it shows that you're trying to get like 200-300 bucks. Like it
Yeah.
shows that you're desperate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And I've run into that as well. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, it's not the best way to brand yourself, but it's do it.
It's a
Like
good
you're gonna
starting
do that.
point, I think.
It's a
Right.
starting point.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about starting is it's never beautiful. Like I always compare like starting your filmmaking business to like a pregnant lady who's just about to have her baby, right? It's not beautiful. It's a very uncomfortable. She's losing sleep. She
Hmm.
her things are malfunctioning. Things are getting uncomfortable. She might have like throwing up at night. Like all these different things that
That's
happen.
interesting.
But, but something beautiful is coming out of it. Like, a
Yeah.
human being is coming. It's painful. There sometimes there is permanent damage that occurs, minor but permanent, right? Things
Hmm.
happen. The human body in a situation of birth. That's you starting a business. You're not perfect with everything. You don't know how to
Hmm.
do everything, but you have an end goal and you have to do it. And that led me to like using the tools I had and trying the strategies that I thought would work until I'm like, all right, I'm flat broke right now. Like I need money to eat. I need money to
Yeah.
just gas in my car. Like, I need money to do anything. And this was me saying, okay, I have all my film gear. I need money today. Let me put everything I have in my car, all my gear, and let me behave as if I'm going right now to a client who's going to pay me $2,000. Right? Let me just act. I just got hired for $2,000, and I'm showing up to this client. How
Hmm.
would I show up? And that was me just putting in my like I had a Forza 500, lighting, multi-camera setup, everything just goes in the car.
I had everything then, huh?
Everything. Like it was like at the time because I wasn't as professional as I am, and I hadn't gone through the workflow enough times. Just putting stuff in my car was a 30-minute process. Like
Hmm.
on the second floor, I didn't have storage or anything. Like it was just a very tedious task, but
Yeah.
I did that. And I kind of like half questioned myself when I was doing that. Like, is this crazy? Is this normal? And is what I'm doing okay? Like, is it like I just it's so many question marks, right?
Hmm.
Like literally I'm packing my car with film gear and I have nowhere to go yet. So I get in my car and now I'm like, all right, I'm going to drive to a destination with a lot of businesses. I'll go and like on Google Maps and I'll kind of just look at roughly at the map and I know the area around me.
Yeah.
This is Orange, this is Tustin, this is Irvine, this is Costa Mesa, this is Newport Beach. Where do I want to go today? I think the first day I went to Irvine, right? I went to this
Good start.
like bougie part of Irvine. There's this little shopping center that has some barber shops, a lot of like cosmetology things going on. I had printed a bunch of paper. I didn't even have business cards. Imagine that. I didn't have business cards. But I printed just a document with like papers, literally with my logo, my phone number, and just a little intro as to what I do. Of course, like nothing professional, just like
Yeah.
a paragraph, gibberish, like
Quick
yeah,
introduction.
I can help your business grow, blah blah blah. This is that, and then I take these flyers and I walk in business to business, door to door, literally, and I walk in and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I start with anything like my name's Leo, I'm a filmmaker. I can make videos for you. What kind of videos do you make? Do you have a website? No, I don't, but I'd like to show you what I can do. And then if I feel like there's any form of interest in this conversation, I usually say like, I'll tell you what, so you don't even have to risk anything. If you want, I can make a little video for free for you. I actually have my gear right now. I'll make this video for you.
There you go.
And if you like it, you can hire me. And a lot of them would say no. I like 90% would say like, oh, later, thank you, or
Hmm.
no, we're actually want to hire you. It's not the right time. And I would just go business to business, and then I would develop my pitch as I go. I think a few weeks later, I was somewhere in Newport. It was an antique shop, and then then you start thinking strategically. Then you start thinking about like actually using your filmmaking to offer value. So if I
Hmm.
walk into an antique shop, I'm like, all right, antique shops, like how do these people sell things? They sell things based on the story of the item. How much of that can be portrayed by you walking into an antique shop? Like you don't really know the story of this little piece of jewelry
Hmm.
or this table that was owned by a princess somewhere 200 years ago. Someone has to tell you all of these stories, but you probably have one like clerk in the shop and they have to cater to 4 or 5 customers and they don't have time to explain every story to every person. So I'm thinking like, all right, as a filmmaker, I can create a YouTube channel for these clients,
Strategy.
and I can have strategy. Like I'm going to walk in and I'm going to tell them that you have all these items, and then you repeat these stories back to back for every item. And I know that you give them the concise story, and why not have a story for every one of your very attractive, highly demanded products?
Yeah, and then it builds credibility for the store as well, just because if they have like a YouTube channel with all these videos, all these stories of all these items, well, then somebody who happens just to find that channel or find the store and thus find the channel, they see, oh, this is legit. These stories are like here, like I can trust this place. I feel comfortable spending my money here, and that's because the work that you put in.
Absolutely. And then if something has not been sold yet, people watching that YouTube channel, people that are fanatics for antique work will probably come in to buy it. If it's gone, if anything, that'll create like a fear of missing out. Like watch this video of that item, like you missed out on that. Do you want to miss
Hmm.
out on this one? That's how I started thinking. You walk into a dealership, you offer something, you walk into a barber shop, you start to tailor make your packages to these clients. Right.
Right.
I just kept going with that. And then every time I walk into a business, I'll come up like with something from like the magician's hat. Like, okay, this business I want to offer this business I want to offer that. An easy one is testimonials, right? Like
Great.
for dental
Yeah.
doctors, like I'd like to offer you professional testimonials of your clients talking about your business, and to add to that, show even B-roll of the business will over like
Hmm.
kind of add more production value.
For sure.
And a lot of this didn't work, bro. Like a lot of it didn't work. Really, it's just me kind of throwing things and seeing what sticks.
See, what do you think about it didn't work though? Because I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm sure viewers are watching, thinking this sounds like genius, right? But like, what do you think made it so that it didn't work? Because I mean, it sounds like a great idea.
If I want to answer that question, I want to give an example of someone I worked really hard on, right?
Okay.
So I was driving down Newport Boulevard or PCH, that one of the streets really close to the beach in Newport.
Yeah, that's Newport turns into PCH right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I drive by and I was on one of these hunts of like, all right, today I'm doing Newport. And I drive down Newport Boulevard and I see this place. I saw that they had like kind of like a caged entrance where you had to be buzzed in.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, so high ticket clients right off the bat. They make a lot of money. They probably have a bigger budget for advertising.
That.
I always go on people's social media
Hmm.
before you walk into business. You might pick up what the business owner's name is, what his brother's name, what his son's name is, what he's excited about. Is he a golfer? There's so much information just by scrolling through a social media page that you can pick up. But I went through their page and I saw that they are a man and a woman that run the business. Their Instagram page is just live after live after live after live. They don't actually have any content.
Right.
And these lives are like 50 minutes to like an hour long, I'm guessing.
Jeez.
And the lives are literally them. So it turns out what the business is, it's a commissionary business where, like, let's say you have a Louis Vuitton bag and
Hmm.
you want to sell it, but you're not going to go through the risk of dealing in a used market and having people come visit you. What you'll do is you'll give it to them, and then you get them a percentage of whatever they sell it for.
Okay, I gotcha. That's a good business idea.
It's a good business. And they are those two, the couple, they are the right people for the job.
Hmm.
Like they know what they're doing. They're very well connected, very trustworthy individuals. Like they're the person you want to deal with for something like this.
Hmm.
And they're expert salespeople. They just know how to describe products in a beautiful way. They know how to make you attracted to what they have to sell. Like they're just really naturally good at it. So what they'll do is they'll get up. Him and his wife will be sitting side by side on a vertical screen, and they'll be like, "All right, so we have 12 products today." And then they'll throw in like a fun little thing that happened. We just had our anniversary. It's so beautiful. A little joke. Like they make it very like family friendly, right?
And
They'll
relatable, comfortable.
really beautiful. It's a very like a social interaction they have,
Yeah.
and they'll have 50 to 200 people on the live, right? And then they'll bring out the first product, which is like a Gucci bag. And this is such a beautiful Gucci bag, barely used. It's actually sporty, but at the same time, it's something you can take to the airport.
Hmm.
And they'll just start describing like sales talk. They'll start the bid, start off at 2,000, doesn't sell. You know what, guys? It's a special day. It's our first product. We want to sell this. Let's call it 1,800. And then people will start jumping in and they'll start selling. And they'll sell 10, 12 products. You're talking like $15,000 worth of products. And that's what they do. Right. So I listen to I literally parked in front of their thing, all my gear in my car, same routine, watched like 30 minutes of one of their lives and like scrolled through a few of the rest and just got a feel for their business. So I immediately thought to myself, if we're talking products, I thought podcast because they can have a podcast and I can include a third camera angle for just the product, like a little like one of those turning tables, like a whole setup where someone can constantly switch the items.
Hmm.
And then they can talk about these items. So I walked into the business. They buzzed me in, and I called them by their names. Naturally, they're a little paranoid because again, like the place is gated. They have a lot of expensive gear.
Hmm.
They don't know who. And I was like, I'm a filmmaker. I saw your content on Instagram. I think it's very incredible. I have services that I can offer you if you're interested in, and I'd love to talk to you about that. And they were sitting there. Come on in. Let's talk. I go inside. He was very, very like surgical with his questions. Like he was already not buying it off the bat. Like what are you trying to sell me? What do you want? Like he was very, very uncomfortable in a way.
Right.
So he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, all right, so you sell products. You want to get the opportunity to display them in a nice way, and you want to tell a story, create a community that watches your podcast, watches videos about you guys. Why not create a podcast? So we got a little bit technical, like cameras would be here. I'll bring everything, I'll set it up, I'll do this, that. He didn't like where it was going. And I started to realize it's because of the fact that there is no live aspect to the podcast. It's like something you shoot and then they have to input, like you have to edit it.
And then they have to
It's
wait.
out,
Yeah.
whatever, and they see it. What are they going to write a comment that they want that product, or how's that going to work? Like it's just not as exciting as live sales.
Hmm.
Live sales kind of puts you on the spot, like you got to buy it right now. Versus if it's something on YouTube, you're gonna be like, is this still available? Is it there yet? Or you're like, it's probably already sold. I guess that's why he just turned off by that idea. He went to see a client for a minute, and I stayed in the office and I started searching online for like live videos, simple live video solutions. This company called YOLO Live created this tablet looking device. You plug in 4 HDMIs, I think 2 XLRs, and 2 normal mics. And instead of it having a front facing camera, and then when you go on Instagram, you use the front facing camera, you have access to any, like the highest production quality possible. You plug in HDMIs
Yeah.
and you feed that into Instagram. It's a multicam. You
Yeah.
can start switching cameras. You can choose professional audio. You could switch microphones. You can add lower thirds. You can add you could start adding animations live, and it's just a tablet. It's like an all-in-one solution.
Hmm.
I was like, listen, I have a device that so he comes back and I was like, I have a device that I think is going to be incredible for you. So I was like, it's called the YOLO Live box. What I can do is I can start coming in once a week, and I will set up a dedicated camera for you and a really nice production microphone. I'll have you perfectly lit. I'll have your wife on in another setting right across from you, perfectly lit. That way we don't have both of you guys in the same shot, and I can cut from A cam to B cam. It'll be a lot more engaging, and you guys can take breaks or whatever need be it. It'll just make it a lot more engaging,
Hmm.
and you get professional audio. And I also have a third camera pointing to the product that you can constantly switch out with lighting and a turntable, and it will constantly be spinning around. And it would be your live, but production times 100. There's so many things that I can do that will make your life a lot easier, that will present your business a lot better. And you can, when I archive these, I'll have an internal recording of this that you can post that people can watch again in full quality. So you'd think like, all right, what's left? Like, why doesn't he just say yes?
Yeah. That's a no brainer.
You think right, and
Hmm.
then He's like, all right, I'll get back to you. We'll talk about this. So he ghosts me for a few days. I text him the next week. He's like, let's revisit this the next week. Text him again, ghosts me, but nothing ever came from that. So like sometimes you feel like it's all about intelligence and like being very very good at what you do, but sometimes there's this uncontrollable aspect of emotions. Like maybe he just didn't trust, maybe he just wasn't comfortable with the way I approached him. Like maybe he felt like I'm just a hustler trying to make some money. And I know for a fact that I looked very very desperate in a lot of these pitches, but that was the reality that I was experiencing. Like that's all it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then some of
So
these some of these clients did land though, right? Is that how it came about?
So on the flip side of that story, right? That's an extreme of like a no, like
Hmm.
a bold red no. On the other side of that, there's like clients that it's like a barbershop, and this one was huge, brother. So I walk into this was the first day I went to Irvine. There was a barbershop I walk into, and I gave him the paper and I shake his hand, and he's like, "I'll call you soon," right? And that guy just nothing ever happened for me. So a year later, I'm same mode, like, all right, let's go out, pack my gear, let me go back to Irvine. I haven't been there a year. Maybe something has changed.
Hmm.
I go there and I start going business to business and I walk into that same barbershop and he's like, Leo. I'm like, yes. He's like, brother, you don't understand that he literally said this. He's like, you gave me a really shitty piece of paper that has like in a very shitty way all your information. And I've been fighting with my wife for the past 3 months trying to find it. I've been trying to call you for like the past 3 months and I can't find you. And I've been wanting to make a video. I'm trying to contact you. I just don't have your information. This is that. I was like, all right, amazing. So like to me, it's like, let's get to business. Like, what do you want me to do? Let's do it.
Hmm.
And I got my gear in the car. So I was like, all right, brother, let's get started right now. And I'll give you a crazy discount. Like, let's make some money. He's like, to be honest with you, man, I really don't need it right now. I need it in about a month. So to me, it's like getting so many no's that day from all the other businesses. And this is something I would usually like end my day with. I would usually just do a free video for like my favorite experience of the day. Like if I go through 30 businesses and it's the end of the day and I know nothing's gonna happen, I'll just choose one of them to make a free video for.
Okay.
And I'll just go back to that guy and be like, I'm gonna make a video for you for free.
Hmm.
No tricks, no cool, nothing. Like I have to make a video. I was like, I'll do it for free. So I start bringing out my gear, and when people start to see your gear and how equipped you are, then they start realizing
It's
like
a
this is a real thing.
switch. It's like this guy's not messing around. He's the real deal.
He's for real. Even though he's desperate, he's like he's flat broke. But this guy pulls up with $20,000 worth of film gear. Like he's obviously just really committed to what he does.
Hmm.
And I start setting up. And when he saw the gear, he was suddenly intimidated and he was afraid that something would happen and he wouldn't be able to book me in the future. And he felt like I would have done all this for nothing. I'd be like he felt very guilty that he made me do all this. So he keeps saying like, Leo, we don't need all that stuff. You don't have to put the mic, you don't have to put the lights.
Like, dude, relax. This is what I do.
Yes. And I sit him down and I interview him and we start having fun. And he's so moved by the experience. Like he wants to guarantee that after what I did in that shop, that he benefits me.
Hmm.
He's grinding his head, trying to find a way to give me something. So he goes, like he's sitting and he's kind of twisting on his chair, and then he goes, Savas, Savas. And I'm like, what's Savas? He's like, brother, I'm gonna introduce you to somebody who is gonna change your life. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, his name is Savas, man. He and his brother own a hair salon slash hair supply store. They have 22 chairs. Their supply store supplies everybody from Long Beach to San Diego. Everybody that knows anybody in the hair world
Knows this guy.
knows this guy. He knows everybody. He's very well connected. And then he picks up the phone and he calls Sabas.
Just like that.
And just like that, he calls Sabas like, Sabas, I have this guy in the shop, amazing filmmaker. When do you want to meet him? Right?
It didn't even ask him if he wanted to. It's just a matter of like, when is it going to
When
happen?
you want to, yeah, because he's telling me like all you have to do is just make contact with this individual, like regardless of how you do it. Saba says, "All right, like have him come by tomorrow morning," and then he's like, "All right, he'll come tomorrow morning." So he closes the phone. He's like, "Are you going to go tomorrow morning or not?" I was like, "I'm going." Like I'm going tomorrow morning. He's like, "Can you be there 9 a.m.?" I was like, "I'll be there 9 a.m." He's like, "Can you please go?" Because I told him I was like, "I'm going tomorrow. I'm going to go see Sabas." Right? Not knowing who this guy is, like what's going on, like what is this whole thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at this point, like fight or flight, like any door, I'm running through it. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, I don't
For
care.
sure.
So we shoot a fun little video. I almost edit it on the spot. It was a very simple cut, like a few cuts. Send it to him. He's very happy. I go home, go to sleep, wake up like 7 a.m., get ready. I'm going to meet Salvas, right? So same thing. Pack my car up with film gear, all the stuff that I had.
Okay.
So I pull up, and when you look at it from the outside, you feel like it's a bunch of warehouses, like it's an industrial block. And when you go inside, they needed so much space that they needed to take an industrial building
Like a big
to
warehouse.
create a hair salon, the hair salon.
That's just the
So you
salon,
know,
not the supplier.
not to supply. The whole back end of the business is the supplies. Like that I would discover towards the end of walking in. So I walk inside, brother, like one of the most lavish, classy hair salons I've seen in my life. The craziest stylists, like everyone's so beautiful. Hairstylists have the most charisma I've ever seen in any profession. Like they're very charismatic.
Because they got to talk to
They know
people all day, right?
exactly, and they have to make you feel good, and they're really good at it. So I go to the back and I meet Savas, and I hug this guy, and like we're just chit chatting. He's like, "Yo, what do you do? Why
What do I need to do?
do I need to know you?"
Yeah.
Because, brother, like I can really benefit your business. Like I have things that will I think you will really like. So I'm like, so Savas, check this out, brother. You have an amazing salon. So his brother is the lead hairstylist in the salon. He does like physical like hairstyling,
Hmm.
and then he manages the whole back end. And while we're sitting, he has a fleet of cars outside. And what he does is, hair salons have a problem where they keep running out of gear. Their shears might get like dull, and they need new ones. Like there's so much stuff they need, so many disposables that a lot of hairstylists will literally like leave 30 minutes before their appointment to go get what's missing and come back. He's made it so that they have a hair supply store on wheels that is just patrolling every area, and you just hit them up. They're 3 minutes away. They'll give you the gloves. They'll give you the foil. They'll give you new shears. They'll give you like masks. Whatever you need, they'll provide.
Wow.
And he's just sitting with phone calls, like phone call after phone call, like, oh, they need hair dye, they need shears, they need this, they need that, and that's his side of the business. So I'm like, all right, Saba. So what I'm going to do is, I want to know how like your business started. Like, I'm sure it's not a coincidence that your brother has a hair salon and you have like you sell hair supplies. So I want to know your story. I'm going to set up my camera, like a whole camera interview setup. It'll take about 2 hours to set up, and then I'd like to talk to you, and then anyone from the people inside. I want to bring in, just to have something for your business.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, free of charge. Even if you pay me for it, I'm not even taking the money. Like I want people to rest assured that this is for demonstration purposes only.
Right,
I
right. There's
just
no
want to show you.
gotchas.
No gotchas. That's like a very important thing. Like you have to really emphasize the no gotcha. I set up the interviews, brought him in. He talks about how it all started. He was visiting his brother on vacation, and the vacation was ruined by like constantly having to go back and forth to the hair supply store. And he just had this epiphany. A light bulb went off. Why don't I just have a hair supply store on wheels? His brother loves the idea. His brother's a very good businessman. They had their business. That was one interview. And then I'm walking around the hair salon. I'm like, all right, this is an opportunity. Let the people inside know me as the filmmaker who's doing ads for the salon. Like let me be at least start chit chatting with the stylist there. Like, Sofis didn't tell you we're doing interviews today. Oh no, he didn't. What kind of interviews? Oh, I'm not ready yet. No, listen, it's very casual. I'm just gonna ask you questions. If you feel like you don't like the way it looks, it gets deleted. If I don't like the way it looks, it gets deleted. Even if you have like an amazing speech, I'm only gonna use a few seconds of it. But we're just having something. We want to do a candid thing. Sure. 2 minutes after this appointment, and they just started pouring in. Right, like I got 5 or 6 of the girls and a few of the guys that work there.
Wow. Okay.
Did some interviews. I got to display my filmmaking, got to shoot stories for my Instagram. People that see my page think that I'm selling like crazy, like hot. And I remember once you texted me like, Leo, like, how are you booking all these clients? And I'm like, no, Ethan, you don't get it. Like, this is all free stuff. Like,
Yeah. But hey,
like
that works though. That's what that providing value, or at least the illusion of value to people scrolling on social media, is
yeah,
huge. I mean, that's a big part of selling something, right? I mean that's also
exactly. And I had the edit ready a few days later, send it over, and I'm thinking like these guys are gonna book me. Like Salvas is gonna lose his mind. This is that. Salvas he loves me at this point. Like I'm just chit chatting with this guy. He loves it. He sees my work. He loses his mind. Right. He loves it. But Salvas's business really doesn't need me. Like
Mhm.
they don't. They don't want this stuff. It doesn't mean anything to
They
them
don't
at this point.
depend on it.
They don't depend on it. Maybe between him and his brother, there was like a inconsistency with the goal or the intention. Like regardless. So believe it or not, I was never booked by Salvas, right?
Hmm.
But look what's about to happen next. Ever since that day, almost every week I have a hairstylist booked somewhere between Long Beach and San Diego because Salvas is the guy that's going business to business.
And telling them about you.
Yeah, like here's and he has a very intimate relationship with these people, right? They trust him. So when he calls a hair salon in Orange and says, "This is the guy if you need videos," then they get that this is the guy.
They trust it because it comes from him.
Exactly. And there were even times where there weren't bookings. And instead of me doing that free work that I'm doing random places, I'd hit up Savas and I'd be like, what kind of commercial can I make for your business in another hair salon? So essentially, like what I want to do is I'm doing something for free for Savas, who's bringing me people like crazy,
Hmm.
but I want to physically shoot his stuff, whatever content is going to benefit his business. I want to shoot it in one of the hair salons that I have never been to. He had a client in Long Beach, a hair salon, and I was like, why don't I make a commercial where I go to this hair salon and they're working, they're doing their thing, and then you come in and one of them like they're out of hair dye, and you come in with your car and you park and you give him the bag full of hair dye and you go away. So it's a commercial for his business, right?
Hmm.
For the supply, the fact that they're getting supplies.
Right.
I get to see a whole new world of clients when I do this. I see everyone who's walking into this place in Laguna. I get to expose the hairstylist there to what I'm doing. And I even would always throw a freebie in for that business that I'm there.
Hmm.
So Salvas's clients are hairstylists. They're hair salons. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
The
they're
people,
just they're the people buying from him. Yeah.
exactly. So how would I make a commercial for him? I want to demonstrate how he provides these clients with services.
Hmm.
So, but I want to shoot the video over there. I want to shoot it where we're over there
Hmm.
cutting hair and he shows up and it's all on video. It's just been the gift that keeps on giving in terms of like bookings.
Hmm.
A hairstylist here, like a photo shoot there, like just crazy things happening. And aside from that, the amount of weddings I'm getting from the hairstylists that know me now,
Oh,
because now the
interesting.
hairstylist these salons, your hair is beautiful. Yeah, I'm getting married in May. You're getting married in May. Do you have a videographer? I don't. I know this guy. You're gonna love him. Look at what he did for me. Look at this. Look at that. And not to mention the wedding videos for hairstylists that have done
Mhm.
themselves because they're getting married.
Yeah, because they
So
have
it's just like
lives also.
just a domino effect of clients. And I think the peak of these clients would be across the street in that same business park in Irvine where Salvas is located, is a very, very classy, very reputable brand that creates hair appliances. And that was, I think, like my first ever like $7,000 marketing campaign where it was like multiple products, multiple, it was like um, a bunch of products and like certain things that we're doing for the products. All that started in Irvine with the barber guy and me giving him a printed piece of paper that has my phone number and me walking in saying like, yeah, do you need
What
a
a
video?
crazy story. What a crazy butterfly effect. It's just like you never know where your fortune will take you, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
You know.
You never know. You never know.
That's a crazy story. Wow, what a like that's an insane story to take that from how do you find your clients to I walked into a barber shop and now I'm working with Enzo Milano.